Hi, Samantha. Hello. Hi, Samantha. Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Samantha Uncut, where I discuss celebrity news, hot topics, reality TV, and so much more. All commentary is alleged and in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Hey, everyone. I hope you all are having an amazing morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. I'm coming to you guys with my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 7. I know it's a little bit late, but here it is. We are gonna get into the mess. This video is probably gonna be very short because it wasn't really given. But before we do, y'all know what to do as usual. Make sure that you like this video, share, comment down below, and follow me on my social media platforms on TikTok at Samantha.uncut and on Instagram at SamanthaUncut. All information will be listed in the description bar as usual. So if you need more information, that's where you can find it. And so let's get into this recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 7 of season 16. So the episode starts off with Britt and her husband or her beard, allegedly, going car shopping for a $450,000 car that they probably can't afford. And then they are talking about Angela. He's asking her, how does she feel about Angela? And she brought up the issue that Angela basically was defending Kenya and talking about her or what she did about losing her license. And she then says, what if she was to bring up the rumors about Charles cheating on Angela? I don't care for Britt and her beard. I really don't. They could really leave the season because they don't have any value for me. This conversation pointless. First of all, why do you care about how she feels about Angela and rumors about Angela? Like, no, go shoot a scene with the men. Talk to the men. I don't want to hear you in women's business. Like, talk to the men about whatever is going on, because I feel like this issue is so adjacent to them that there's no need for Britt to bring up Angela or even to have an issue with Angela, because the issue was resolved at the peace branch. So it's like at this moment, Kenya is gone, and I feel like Britt is just itching to have an issue with someone else on the cast, and it's just annoying. So Angela then meets up with Drew at her house to catch up, and Drew to tell her, she needs to stop lying about saying that Michael Jordan is her cousin. And then Drew said, oh, that was a joke. But Drew, you weren't joking about that. Like, Drew is something else sometimes. And this is why, like, people have an issue with her, because she just lies so much and you can never really tell when she is telling the truth about things. So Angela is just like, girl, just stop it. We know that that's not your cousin. So anyways, they started talking about Drew's divorce and how the process is going, and that she is gearing up to head back to court with Ralph. And then they started talking about her working with Dennis, and if she had gotten a chance to speak with Portia about the whole situation as yet. She said no, not yet. But she did say that in the beginning, when she started working with Dennis, she already spoke with Dennis. She already spoke with Portia. Ralph even spoke with Dennis about the whole situation. Everybody was cool. But now that they're starting to film, both Ralph and Portia is having an issue with her working with Dennis. And that I do believe. I truly believe that she did speak to Portia about it before she started working with Dennis, and that they all had an agreement that this was okay. Portia was cool with it. But I feel now that Portia's storyline, which is Simon, since Simon is no longer there, Portia now is backtracking and trying to make Drew her storyline and trying to have this big issue with Drew working with Dennis. And it's like, it's not that serious at all. So in the midst of all that, Angela then invites Drew to Nashville because she had gotten an invitation from Portia, because Portia is headed to Nashville for her birthday trip, and she was on a call with Portia, and she asked if she can bring Drew on that call. Portia didn't really say no, and she didn't really say yes. So Angela took it as, okay, I'm going to invite Drew. So she invited Drew to the party. And over at Kelly's house now, all the other ladies meet up to discuss or recap the peace brunch. And Portia invited the ladies to her birthday party in Nashville, and Cynthia asked if Drew was coming. Portia said no, she did not invite her. But when you look at the flashback on the call again, they were all on the call. They had a conversation. Angela asked if she could invite Drew, and Portia, instead of saying yes or no, she was saying that the call was breaking up, but she didn't say no. So, and obviously production is going to make it that Drew is going to end up on this trip. So I'm not sure why I get why Portia is being the way she's being about this Drew situation, but at the same time, it's hard for the audience to watch because it's like, girl, just give her a break. Like, we're 7 episodes in and she's still having an attitude about Drew, but then whenever one asks her if she's able to get along with Drew, she keeps saying yes, she can be cordial, she can be in the same room and all of that, but it's like, that if that's the case, then how come every time you're in a room with Drew and she tries to talk to you, you basically try to sun her or you try to embarrass her? Like, it's so childish, and I'm actually over it. I'm over Portia and this situation because it's really not that big of a deal. It's really not, guys. And actually, so far since these 7 episodes, we've been seeing more from Drew than we're seeing from Portia. And she's supposed to be the anchor as the person returning back to the show. She's supposed to be the anchor, and I'm not getting anchor from her. For instance, Britt had a scene with Drew where they met up because Britt didn't like that Drew was defending Kenya at the peace brunch, and Drew explained to Britt that she seemed excited that Kenya wasn't there anymore, and like, they are all cool with Kenya, so she didn't really like how Britt was trying to be like excited, saying that, oh well, she's not here anymore and they need to focus on her, basically. And Britt was just like, I understand that. However, I was humiliated. And of course, Britt started doing her manipulation thing where she is talking about, oh, woe is me, this, I was done wrong. And it's like, girl, bye. So she tells Drew that if she has any questions, she can ask her anything because she's an open book. And this is my favorite scene from the episode because Drew literally served in this episode, in this scene. When she asked Britt, she said to her, did you ever sell it? And Britt is like, did I ever sell what? And Drew says, the cat. I was so gagged when that question was asked because the face that Drew made, the way that she tilted her head and then she slurped on her drink, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I could not believe she asked it, but it was such a direct, point blank, period question that it was either yes or no. And obviously Britt said no, she did not. So then Drew went on to ask her, what about corn? Did you ever do corn? Britt started getting tongue twisted up. All of that, couldn't get her lies out, but she finally was able to say no, she's never done corn. But back in her 20s, she did webcam with her best friend. They were naked doing webcam for a week. Girl, I don't know who you're trying to fool, but ain't no way nobody's gonna be doing no webcam naked for a week only and making good money from it and then just stop for a week. Come on, please. And I'm saying that I don't believe Britt did webcam for only a week, especially when back in the day she was trying to be in music videos, and you were trying to be in music videos, trying trying to make money, but you made money from webcam and you only did it for a week, Britt. Come on, please play those games with somebody else. So I guess Britt didn't like being in the hot seat, so she tried to flip the questions around on Drew, because now she asked Drew about her saying that she knew who the person in the photo that Kenya showed at her salon, that Drew knew the person in the photo. So she asked Drew, did you ever say that you knew who the alleged person is in that photo of who was receiving this head? And Drew says, no, I said maybe I know the person. I didn't say for a fact that I know the person. I thought I recognized one of them, because Britt is like, well, did you ever suck the bean too? And Drew's like, no, I didn't. And I didn't, in fact, say that I know the person. And obviously, Drew then apologized to her, because Britt went on to explain, oh, how do you know what it feels like to have everything that you worked for overshadowed by somebody calling you an escort, calling you a fraud, calling you all these things? Girl, allegedly you are those things, allegedly. So they end up talking it out, and Drew apologized, Britt apologized, and they decided that they're going to move forward. They don't have any problems with each other, and that they're going to move forward so that, they can move in cohesiveness and everyone can be fine. So then we have a scene with Drew and Ralph, who they're headed back to court for their divorce battle. She wants child support, Ralph to move out of the basement, and for the court documents to be sealed. And I think that Drew wanting the court documents to be sealed, I think she's not being 100% honest about why she wants the documents sealed. She said that she doesn't want her kids to find out everything or see these things about the divorce online. But I also feel like within those documents, there's been some allegations against Drew that she may not want the public to know about or her kids to know about. So maybe that's why she wants those court documents sealed. And I get it. I understand, but I can also understand from Ralph's point of view, where there's all these accusations being made against him, and he has this one thing against Drew that he wants to humiliate her with, and it's in the court documents. So he wants it unsealed, because if he's going down, then everybody else is going to go down with him. He's no different from Martel. Ralph is Martel 2.0. I don't care what anyone has to say. So they went into the courthouse, and they were literally in the courthouse for maybe like 20 minutes. And then they came out, and then it was said that the judge ruled that the documents will be unsealed and that Ralph does not have to move out of the basement. Why did Ralph come out of the courthouse dancing like a damn dancing fool, being excited that he's still staying in the basement? Like, what kind of man operates like that? I'm telling you, like, he just reminds me so much of Martel. His antics are so similar to what Martel has done in the divorce when he was going through that with Melody. Because what kind of man would want to stay in a house to antagonize his wife or his ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife and their children? Why would you want to do that? Why would you not want them to have peace? Why wouldn't you want the mother of your children to have peace and to flourish and to have peace of mind and to be fulfilled in whatever she wants to do and not have to go through the stress of a divorce and dealing with your shenanigans? Ralph really irks my soul. And while they're on their way home, Drew started crying, and I just feel so bad for her, because you can really tell that he's really taking her through it. And I feel like she doesn't have the support of the cast, because I noticed that whenever she's talking about her divorce, she mainly will talk about it with Angela. She wouldn't really talk about it with the group, because in a group setting, I feel like there is not that support from the cast, and she's being isolated, or she's being iced out by Portia. So that adds on to the stress that she is dealing with. And I feel so bad for her because she's really going through it with this whole situation with Ralph, and then having to deal with the situation with Portia, and Portia being mad at her. Like, it's a lot. And just not having the support, it's too much. And I just want, I want her to have some peace. So anyways, the ladies, they all arrive in Nashville except for Angela, who missed her flight. So she arrived a little bit later. They arrived and the house is beautiful. The food looks good. And so Portia brought them to show them the rooms. Obviously, Shamia got the second best room. Portia is staying in the biggest room. Angela gets her own room. Kelly and Britt will share their quarters, and Drew will have the bunk bed. And Cynthia, I believe, is also sharing the quarters with Kelly and Britt, if I'm not mistaken. What we'll see. Angela then arrives, and of course she walked in on the ladies talking about her, and she gave Britt a hug. And I noticed that when Angela hugged Britt in this scene, Britt did not have a problem with Angela giving her a half hug or a pat. But she had a problem when Kenya did it, or she had a problem with Kenya not hugging her when actually Kenya did hug her. So the ladies were having a conversation, and Britt was saying that she doesn't like when people kind of switch up on her, and she feels like Angela is switching up on her when people are around. And so Angela walked in on that conversation. She sits down, she greets everyone, and then they all started eating. And so she then says to Portia that, she invited Drew and she anticipates Drew coming. So obviously we know by now, we know how reality TV work, okay? So production told Angela to bring up this conversation and to invite Drew to the trip, because you need Drew at the trip for there to be an antagonist on the trip, and for the plot to move along. Like, you need Drew there. It's a cast trip. We know how this works. So everyone is not totally surprised that Drew is going to be there. But of course, Portia is going to make it an issue because she did not personally invite Drew on the trip. So Portia says it's cool. She's not going to make it an issue, but we all know that's not going to be the case, because in the preview that was shown, it shows that she is still trying to ice Drew out once Drew arrived to the trip. So anyways, they all separate and to freshen up for the dinner, because they're going out in later on in the evening for Portia's birthday. That's why they're on the trip. So the ladies, they went to freshen up, and before they leave, so Britt in this moment now, I'm telling you guys, Britt is dangerous and she needs to leave the show. Britt says that she brought her locks, and Kelly said she brought her security and her sage. Britt saying that she brought her locks in case anyone tries to act up. This means that Britt is going to use her locks to hit someone. Oh, like, when people put the locks in like a bag and they're swinging it around to hit people, that is what she's talking about. This is the second or third time that this girl has threatened violence against the cast, and nobody's saying anything. Everybody's just acting like this is normal. This is not normal. Britt is trash, and she just not for reality TV, or at least not for Housewives. Maybe she can go on the Zeus network, but this little fighting that she's always trying to do is not it. Like, she's so trash that she doesn't even have a stylist. Kelly had to lend her stylist, and I feel like she's the kind of girl that will try to snake a friend that tries to help her, because I feel like this is how her and Kelly are going to fall out, because she tries to steal Kelly's stylist and try to act like she didn't do nothing wrong. Britt is trash. I don't care what you guys want to say. She is trash and she needs to go. So they all go out to eat and they're all enjoying some time. They went for bull riding. Portia's friends arrive along with her sister. And while at dinner, one of Portia's friend, Manietta, she asks where Drew is. And Drew is back in Atlanta celebrating her record deal at Crew Lounge, which is Dennis's lounge, with her sister before she goes back to Nashville. And in this moment with Drew, you actually see her on the FaceTime call with Dennis, telling Dennis that she's thanking Dennis for the bottle because Dennis had sent her a bottle. And she says in this moment, it feels nice to be celebrated. And this is what I'm talking about, where Drew is going through it with her ex-husband, or soon to be ex-husband, Ralph, because you can tell that Dennis is fulfilling a role for her, or treating her in a way where it's been a long time that someone has really cared for her in that sense. And she looks at Dennis as like a protector, or like a brother figure for her. And he is celebrating her. He's trying to help her to make sure that her dreams come true. So that's what I mean when I'm saying that, her working with Dennis is not a big issue and Portia needs to let it go. But anyways, back to Nashville, where Portia and her friends are celebrating her birthday. Portia tells Manietta that Drew wasn't invited, and Angela is having Drew crash her birthday. Child, I'm sick of Portia. So Portia and Angela, they go back and forth about the Drew being invited to the birthday party trip. And Angela said she's not going to allow a group of women to talk about one person, which is what Portia is doing with her entourage. Like, they're just talking about Drew, laughing, making jokes. And so one of Portia's friend, I think her name was Pavi, she asked what is going on because she thought that Portia and Drew were cool. And so Portia explained that their business arrangement, that is over because of something that Drew did, and whoever she is working with or doing music with, that is her business and it's cool. And then one of Portia's friends said, well, she is sucking some peen, that referring to Drew. And in this moment, I'm just so disgusted because Portia's reaction, she started laughing along with her friends, while the rest of the ladies were like having this oh no look on their face, or they're shocked that this conversation is being had. And even in this moment, you hear Britt say that that's too much. But honestly, I feel like in this moment, Britt was not actually making that comment towards the peen conversation or towards the peen comment. I feel like she was referring to something else, but production is on this redemption tour of Britt, so they're going to make it seem like Britt is not okay with having a conversation about peen at the table, or someone sucking peen at a table, because she was so upset about Kenya doing that to her in public. But hey, that's just my opinion and how I am viewing the episode and how I'm viewing the edit. And for me, the conversation was just very distasteful. It's very disgusting because Portia in her confessionals is talking about Dennis loving to get his peen sucked, and that's his thing. And that, like, in the past, if she's asked, oh, he had slept with this girl or that girl, he said no, he hasn't slept with her, but the girl has given him or sucked his peen. You know what I mean? Like, and she's saying that that's how he keeps his body count balanced. And she's just making this whole thing like this a joke and just egging on the conversation. And my thing with this is Portia was so upset at Kenya's event, but here you are discussing and laughing at another woman doing that, or allegedly doing that with your baby daddy, and your friends are bringing news to you about Drew doing that, and you are okay with engaging in that conversation and not shutting it down. This is why I can't respect her. I can't respect Portia. I think as much as Portia is a beautiful woman, Portia has a nasty, dirty character about her. And the way that people view Kenya, I feel like if people were to take those rose glasses off when it comes to Portia, they would see that Portia is no different than Kenya. But that is where the episode ended. I guess we're going to pick up on episode 8 with part 2 of the girls trip, or the birthday trip, where this conversation is going to continue. Drew arrived to the trip, and obviously she's gonna get into it with Portia. So far for me, I feel like the season is missing something, and the season is off. It's not really giving me much, and I'm not really excited about this season. And it's everything for me is just in slow motion, I guess, and it's just not really entertaining for me. I don't know, something is off. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share, and I'll see you guys in my next video.